Welcome into another video. This time we're going over my way too early top 10 quarterbacks for the upcoming 2024 season. Can't wait to get into this one. Let's go ahead and jump it out. Things are going to change all over the place as the offseason keeps developing, as we get free agency and we get to the NFL drafts. But right now, I just want to go over, for fun, what is my top 10 quarterbacks heading into the season. Heading right here at number 10, we're talking about Brock Purdy. Yes, a lot of questions were had. Will he continue to be the quarterback that we all saw that he could be at the end of the 2022 season? Well, 2023 definitely proved that he can be the quarterback, and he was actually quite decent for fantasy football as well. Some fantasy owners got him at a discount because he wasn't drafted too high in fantasy football drafts. So he has a plethora of weapons. We're talking about Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey in the backfield. We saw over 4,000 yards passing from Brock Purdy. I think he's got a lot of other good things ahead of him for 2024. Definitely puts him in the top 10 for me. I can't wait to see what we get out of Brock Purdy. Let's move right along here. Talking about Dak Prescott at number 9. I really like to see what Dak did. He really kind of proved that, hey, look, I'm here to stay. I'm a throwing quarterback. This is what we do. I know coming to the season, a lot of people kind of worried about Dak Prescott because they were talking about, I want to be more of a running team, that they threw the ball so much. And it didn't start out that well. They tried to have Tony Pollard as the bell cow back, and that didn't work out. The one way to fix that, just let Dak Prescott do what Dak Prescott does. They ended up getting Brandon Cooks in the offseason, and I think it was just a nice marriage in heaven. CeeDee Lamb had a nice, awesome career for fantasy football, and Dak Prescott over 4,500 yards passing. Absolutely love what he did. 36 touchdowns. It was really, really nice to see Dak Prescott get back to the fantasy football kind of IQ that we all saw that he could really do. He just likes to sling the ball all over the place, and that's good for fantasy football points. That's what lands him at number 9 for me. So we're moving right along here. At number 8, we're going over Joe Burrow with the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, it was kind of a disappointing season for Joe Burrow. Whether it was the injuries of him, whether it was injuries to Jamar Chase or T. Higgins, there was just a plethora of injuries all over the place for this team. And Joe Burrow just ended up not having the season that he wanted to. Only 2,000 yards passing. Didn't really amount to much. I know he was drafted quite high as far as NFL drafts go, or fantasy football drafts. As far as fantasy season, we're talking maybe round 4, round 5. People are starting to draft these quarterbacks up there with the Patrick Mahomes and stuff. And especially if you want a dynasty startup draft, Joe Burrow was probably one of the top picks, maybe second round pick or so, third round pick. We saw those quarterbacks start going off the board, and Joe Burrow was there. Big disappointment for 2023. But heading into 2024, he may or may not have T. Higgins. He may be gone in free agency, even though I know the Bengals did have some type of confidence they were going to be able to bring T. Higgins back. Jamar Chase is going to be there, though. So I think overall, we should not just pump the brakes a little bit on Joe Burrow and all the panic that we have for Joe. I think overall, he's going to still be a nice elite quarterback in the NFL. Don't just write this off and say he is going to be a bust. He's going downhill. That's not the case. It was just a lot of injuries, a lot of other things that went on of why Joe Burrow wasn't what we used to see in him in 2023. But I believe in 2024, we see a whole new back to normal Joe Burrow, and he's going to be dominant. Speaking of people who wasn't very good this year and maybe good next year, we're talking about our next guy at number 7, Justin Herbert for the Chargers. Now, again, he's one of those that didn't perform the way we thought we were. Justin Herbert down in the touchdowns, only 20 touchdowns, 3,000 yards passing. I don't know whether it was the injuries. We had Mike Williams go down. We had Keenan Allen normally go down. Austin Eckler was absolute cock-a-doodle trash. There's a lot of things that happened into this offense. I don't know if we can put the blame solely on Herbert, but he is a gunslinger. He's a big quarterback. He's 6'6". Guys who really stand at big stature can throw and deliver the ball with accuracy. He throws a lot of touchdowns and he throws a lot of yards. Guys, pump the brakes on Herbert again. I don't think he's going to be as putrid as we thought that he was going to be, once he started really breaking down this year. So don't worry about it. I think he's going to get back to his dominance next season in 2024. Easily lands him at number 7 for me. Number 6 here, might be surprised some people, but I'm going to put Anthony Richardson here. I think he's going to come in here to the Colts. He's going to be absolutely dominant. We got to remember, what did he do when he was the quarterback? He was doing a lot of rushing touchdowns. I really like what Anthony Richardson really brings to the table. I think he's going to be phenomenal. I think he's going to be a top fantasy quarterback. My only concern with Anthony Richardson is his running style and running ability. He loves to run the football. He likes to lower his pads and take on a lot of hits. And I hope he learned his lesson by getting hurt this season, that next season he kind of learns to maybe run out of bounds a little bit more. Don't take those aggressive hits from these big old linebackers who could just knock you silly. Anthony Richardson is a phenomenal elite athlete, and he's shown it you know, week in and week out, whenever he was healthy, he was a top fantasy quarterback. I like what I see from him. I think he's going to continue to develop and continue to be a top fantasy asset. I think next year we're seeing him in the top 5 in quarterback. So let's move it on to our top 5 right now. At number 5, yet another rookie quarterback. We're going CJ Stroud. Boy, did he really show us what he was made of with the Houston Texans. Over 4,000 yards passing, over 20 touchdowns. The dude was awesome. He started really developing a rapport with Tank Dell, started to look really clean. He already likes Nico Collins. They've got the weapons on the outside. They're quite young, and they're ready to rock and roll for years to come. They got to figure out the backfield. Was it going to be Dameon Pierce, a little bit of Devin Singletary? Do we bring another running back in the mix? I'm not sure, but I think overall, I think CJ Stroud did phenomenal. Had a little bit of growing pains earlier on in the season, but then once he started developing, understanding, and things started slowing down for him, we started seeing CJ Stroud as a dominant fantasy player for us. I think he is going to be great for years to come. Can't wait to see it. If you guys saw my offseason when I was doing my rookie reviews up into the draft, CJ Stroud was my number 1 quarterback, and he really provided through and through for us. Everybody was all about, oh, it's going to be young, Bryce Young. No, it's not going to be young. Okay. He's too small. He can't make it happen. We saw what happened. CJ Stroud is the number 1 quarterback in that draft class, and he proved it last year. So let's move right along here. Number 4, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes. What a disappointing season we had from Patrick Mahomes, and I hope he can pick it up. He needs more help on the outside. I like that Rashee Rice ended up developing towards the latter end of the season as a competent wide receiver for him, but he just needs more help. Travis Kelce getting up there in a little bit of age. He didn't have really the season that we're used to seeing, a down season. We don't know if we're going to see a bounce back from Travis Kelce or not. Patrick Mahomes, he's a gunslinger. He likes to throw the ball all over the field. Still over 4,000 yards passing, 27 touchdowns. So he was okay. It just wasn't the Patrick Mahomes type of season that we're used to. That's why I had to drop him at number 4. There's a couple quarterbacks that I like better than Patrick Mahomes, mainly because Patrick Mahomes just doesn't have the weapons of some of these other guys that are on the list, or the ability of some of these guys on the list. So let's keep chugging this whole video right along. Move over to number 3, talking about Josh Allen. Josh Allen, what can we say? His floor is so high. The dude at 15 rushing touchdowns. That's absolutely phenomenal. He's starting to pass over 4,000 yards passing. He's got the Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and we like that rookie Dalton Kincaid that came in and really provided a spark for Josh Allen to have a little bit extra of a safety blanket there for him. I think it helped improve his game. Easily could be the number 1 quarterback next season. I wouldn't bat an eye. Who knows how these rankings are going to shift up and down. But as of right now, looking at everything, I had to put Josh Allen at number 3 because I like just how high his floor is. So let's move right along. Number 2, we're talking about Jalen Hurts. We like Jalen Hurts and the big old tush push. You know, Jalen Hurts gets a lot of touchdowns, 15 rushing touchdowns himself. But is that sustainable? I think it can be sustainable. Jalen Hurts, phenomenal young quarterback here. Played on a good team, has a lot of opportunity. Boy, he has those weapons. I placed Jalen Hurts above Josh Allen because of the amount of weapons this guy has. We're talking about A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Devonta Swift in the back. There's a lot of weapons here for Jalen Hurts. I just like his surroundings a little bit better than Josh Allen's. I think both of them have a safe floor, but I had to move Jalen Hurts as number 2. So let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. At number 1, we're talking about none other than Lamar Jackson. The dude's an absolute freak of nature. We're talking about over 3,600 yards passing, over 800 yards rushing. He's electric. He is absolutely electric. We're seeing what he's doing week in and week out on the field. I love that they added Dalvin Cook to the mix. As of the recording of this video, they haven't played their first playoff game as of yet, but he's proven that he can be dominant. I love how it is. But that is definitely my top 10 quarterbacks for the 2024 season. Way too early right now, these rankings. Keep in mind, they can fluctuate all over the place. Give a big like on this video. I really appreciate that. Helps the channel out tremendously. Hit the subscribe button, guys. All off season long, we are pumping out multiple videos each and every week to help prepare you not only for the NFL draft, but for your rookie drafts and your dynasty leagues, and making sure you're good for your fantasy football drafts when it comes to the season. And then during the season, we've got all of our rankings coming out each and every week to help you set the best lineup possible. Guys, can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.